Rabbi Aaron Boxt, once again back with my podcast. I was so happy and blessed last week to have Reverend Dana Knapp with me. This week I have the other interim minister from First Congregation United Church of Christ, Reverend Ken Hull. So welcome, Ken, to my podcast. Do you want to just say hello?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here.
So when Reverend Knapp and I spoke last week, what we talked about basically was what was significant about having a church and a synagogue in one building, and we talked about why it was appealing to both myself as well as Reverend Knapp. So, what is it about? Well, first of all, let me just ask some background questions. How long have you been affiliated with FCUCC?
Really, just a little over 2 years, and I became a member really right about 2 years ago.
And what was it about FCUCC that brought you in?
Well, um, first of all, as a gay man, I was very attracted to the fact that this church has an open and affirming policy and is very open and about that, and that was very important to me and to my husband. But also, I was very intrigued by the possibility. At the time when I first came to the church, they had the last 2 months in their former building before moving into this new building. So I had just a little bit of a taste and the anticipation that was coming about. Of course, the obvious excitement about moving into a new building was there. But in addition, this new partnership that was coming into play, a partnership that had already been in place for a while, but was coming into play by moving into this building together. And so that was an excitement and a great intrigue for me. I knew that I had a lot to learn about what this partnership might be, but about also of communicating and working with my Jewish brothers and sisters.
So there are a couple of things that you mentioned right off the bat there. The first one you mentioned being the FCUCC is an open and affirming church,
Yes.
and one thing I said in my because we talked Reverend Knapp and I talked
Mm-hmm.
about that as well, and this is not a terminology that we use in the Jewish
Mm-hmm.
faith, although we consider ourselves to be that, but
Mm-hmm.
but we don't necessarily have that as part of as part of a biography as a
Mm-hmm.
congregation. So the fact that not only do you say it, but it's literally on your literature,
Yes.
that certainly is a huge piece of the pie, which is one reason why a Reformed Jewish congregation and FCUCC can partner together
Yes.
is because we have these agreements.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned to Reverend Knapp that how cool it was to be at the dance that we had
Mm-hmm.
now a week and a half ago, and to see same sex or same gender couples dancing together in a safe and comfortable place where it, forget the fact that there wasn't judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was just ecstatic that people would feel comfortable dancing with whoever their partner is.
Very much so.
So that's certainly one piece that
Mm-hmm.
we can absolutely 100% agree on. The second thing you said, the anticipation of coming into a new building.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the added anticipation of coming into a new building with another quote unquote type of people.
Yes.
Incredibly appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the reasons why I decided to apply for this position as rabbi
Mm-hmm.
here at Temple Beth Shalom is because of the fact that, you and I walk into work every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an interfaith dialogue possibility right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
And one of three places in the entire world that can say that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so tell me, or tell us, not tell me, what was it? What was your guiding decision in becoming the interim part of the interim clergy team?
Well, um, it's been a while since I've served as a pastor. It's been about I guess not quite, but almost 20 years since I've served as a pastor, and yeah, my journey is it's my own journey, of course, and I I struggled at a time and really got burnt out on being a pastor, but I've never removed myself from being a part of a church, and have been always involved in a music ministry in churches. That's a passion that I have is
Certainly,
music
you
for
have a
sure.
tremendously beautiful voice.
Well, I thank you for that, but it's a passion that I have that I just always need and want to be involved in music. And so I've always been involved in the music part of a congregation that I've been a part of. And so, uh, but as I felt really really welcomed in this particular congregation, some of the parts of me that kind of got burnt out on ministry were able to fade away, and I said, I believe I can do this again, and serve a congregation, uh, and have a and doing it in a co-pastor situation does make a difference,
Certainly.
in that it's not all my responsibility. That Reverend Knapp, who has a great deal of experience, then I can rely upon him and bounce things off of him, and share things and issues that may have indeed come up. So far, we haven't really had a lot of that, but we're in a little bit of a honeymoon period at this point.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Well, the newness of the building, the newness of the relationship, you know, neither you or I, Reverend Knapp was to an extent, but neither you or I were involved from the beginning.
No, correct.
And so we, Reverend Dr. Hal McSwain and Rabbi Harari, these were two very large personalities who came together to make this work. And now we're sort of in the era of you guys finding a new minister and the temple having a new rabbi. We're sort of taking the next huge steps forward in this new so it's that newness also, it's sort of, we're guided by what happened in the past, but we also have the opportunity to completely do something different.
Yes.
Which is wonderful, but can also be terrifying.
Yes, very, very terrifying. Yes.
So let's talk about that terrifying piece. I don't want anyone out there in the world to think that this is always easy. I mean, we have our challenges.
Yes.
We will have challenges moving forward. What is it about, at least in your opinion, what is it about, or what have you observed about these two congregations working together that will allow us to be successful when we have challenges in the future?
Well, first of all, respect. I really have experienced immense respect from the members of the temple. The times that I have been at services at the temple have just been open arms welcoming of me, and that was before I was the interim pastor situation that we're in now. So I felt such great welcome, and I do have immense friends from your congregation already, and working together in this has deepened those friendships that I and my husband have already had. In fact, this evening we're going to dinner out with a couple from your congregation, and so and just not because of this podcast at all. In fact, it just happened to be we're just great friends.
Sure.
And so,
at the dance, we had when my wife and I came in, I went and said hello to members of my synagogue, but then I immediately went over and sat at one of the church, quote unquote, one of the church tables.
Yes.
Because I really didn't want there to be a separation. We're all part of the same congregation, same organization.
Yes.
And then I noticed that when you and your husband came in, y'all did the same thing. Y'all sat on the other side. So it really, I think it says an awful lot. You say respect. I think it's love also.
I agree. Yes.
I think that what I've experienced in the last 2 years that I've been here, when there has been any kind of disagreement or challenge, is a real desire and willingness to figure out how we can learn together, as opposed to let's just forget about it and just move on. I mean, we actually, there's an attempt to learn.
Yes.
I mean, there are obviously going to be some things that are not changeable. For example, the kosher situation, the kosher rules in the temple's kitchen. That's not going to change. But when there was a challenge, the the members of the church and the leadership of the church were so interested in making it right, whatever that looked like, and that's tremendous.
We not only wanted to make it right, but we experienced from the members of the temple the same sense of wanting to make it right, and a element of grace that was needed that was greatly appreciated too. I would also want to add that there's another area that I can see of great possibility of our working together as congregations, and that is through music. We had that experience this last Thanksgiving when we, of course, for the last 2 years have shared together in having a Thanksgiving service that is open at an interfaith service. But our two congregations this last the two choirs from our congregations worked together and enjoyed working together so much that I know that there's a great desire to see that there are other possibilities for us to come together in music, because music is such an element of unity.
Sure.
That is there. So
I'm a little bit nervous about this,
Yes.
because when I first got here, and it was literally just me and a couple of other singers that were or congregants who were able to participate in the singing and the services, and someone said, "Well, we need to have a choir," and I thought, well, okay, so let's have a choir, and then it went to a few people, and then a few more people, and it was, it was rough at 1st. They didn't. There wasn't a real desire for one particular person to be in charge of it, and there wasn't a lot of members of our choir in our synagogue were looking at the members of the church choir and saying, "We want that." Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, "Oh my goodness gracious, how are we going to do this? We don't have the kinds of voices," or so I thought we didn't have. We didn't have the experience, or so I thought we didn't have. And then when I saw the two choirs together at the interfaith service, it was like, huh. And all of a sudden, since that interfaith service, the choir at the temple, they've practiced every week, much like you guys, and they're adding to their repertoire, just like you. I mean, it's like, in a way, our congregational choir is learning how to be a choir based off of the example of your choir, and that's another tremendous privilege of working together.
It's a gift that we can share with each other that I think is truly and there is a great eagerness, I know, on on the choirs of both congregations to find more opportunities to share together, but also to encourage one another, because that's, true musicians really want to encourage one another to practice their art and to be and to do the best they can. So.
Well, I am so excited for the choir that we have now, and I'm excited for what they're going to do moving forward. Wow. And the example that your choir has set for ours is tremendous, and I really hope, and I do believe that as the years go along, very long and loving and friendly and camaraderie, basing camaraderie, a relationship that's going to be an example, as we would say in Judaism, or Goyim, a light into the nations, an example to other congregations out there.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining me this week, and I look forward to many more years together.
Me as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ken. Have a good everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next week.